A new challenger approaches to face off with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in her district, and this woman is a Republican immigrant person of color. It'll be interesting to see how AOC goes up against her, and more importantly, AOC's district is heavy, heavy blue. As Nancy Pelosi put it, a D on a glass of water would win in this district. So can Sherrie really defeat Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? Well, I'll say this. She's certainly going to take away one of AOC's most powerful weapons, the woke identitarian playbook, the race card, essentially. When AOC goes up against Nancy Pelosi, she says, oh, she's singling out a woman of color. Well, she's not going to be able to do this here because Sherrie is a woman of color herself. So let's take a look at what's going on. And I've got some other funny commentary on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but we'll start by learning about who Sherrie is and what's going on with this congressional run. Now, before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There's a PayPal option, a crypto option, and a physical address. But of course, the most important thing you can do, share this video. YouTube has D-ranked independent commentary, so I rely on you to tell all your friends how cool I am, because that validates it. I'm kidding. If you like what I do, please share it. Otherwise, just don't, and leave a comment telling me you hate me. But let's read the news. Ocasio-Cortez gets a new 2020 challenger, a Republican immigrant from Jamaica. Sherrie Murray, a New York businesswoman who immigrated from Jamaica as a child and is active in state Republican politics, is launching a campaign Wednesday for the congressional seat held by Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Fox News has learned. In a phone interview, Murray, 38, confirmed her intention to run for the New York congressional seat as a Republican. There is a crisis in Queens, and it's called AOC, Murray told Fox News. And instead of focusing on us, she's focusing on being famous, mainly rolling back progress and authoring the job-killing Green New Deal and killing the Amazon New York deal. Now, let me say something. I do not live in this district, although I have lived in New York for quite some time, and I'm still in the tri-state area. Now I'm back up in Connecticut. Sherrie Murray sounds kind of incredible so far. So look, I never would judge a person's character. I would never judge a person based off of the color of their skin, always the content of their character. But I can point out that she is an excellent example of the American dream, of a successful businesswoman. So let me point something out. She's going to effectively neutralize the woke identitarian card to a certain extent. I know it doesn't matter. The rules don't make sense. And I would never use that as a pro or a con. Sherrie is a businesswoman, already a net positive. She is 38. Well, I don't think age necessarily guarantees, wisdom or success. There is a factor at play when you're of a certain age. So that is a smaller net positive. She's active in politics. So let me put it this way. She's active in politics, and she's a businesswoman. I believe right off the bat she's got more qualifications than AOC. Now, I will commend Ocasio-Cortez for challenging the system and winning. I absolutely believe she deserves respect for that. In this country, the working class individual, a bartender, can challenge the long-time incumbent and take that seat away, and that makes me feel really good. It's one of the reasons I love this country. Now, unfortunately, I believe AOC was given her shot, and it's only been 5 or 6 months, and she's really, in my opinion, done a bad job. Now, don't take my word for it, because I don't live in this district. I don't know what her constituents think about her. I've seen polls. They've ranged from positive to negative, and it's up to them, not me. I think Ocasio-Cortez absolutely is doing what Sherrie says. She's trying to be famous. She's got these the Green New Deal is just a weird economy-shifting bill, and she killed the Amazon deal. But I will say this. Sherrie is a good example of the sentiment of her constituents because Sherrie is a constituent of AOC, and it seems like she's not going to take it sitting, she's not going to just sit there and take what AOC is dishing out. She's going to challenge her, and well, props to her. So I'll say this. I'm not someone who has skin in the game, and I really find it strange when we have these, California types backing Congress people in other places. That to me is wrong. It's absolutely wrong. You can take a look at who helped prop AOC up, and it was Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks in California. But AOC is supposed to be representing people in New York, so I don't like that. So I don't endorse anybody, okay? I don't know enough about who Sherrie is, but I do believe she looks respectable. And when it comes down to the vote, it's going to come down to who has a better message. Keeping in mind, Sherrie is at a massive disadvantage. But in my opinion, with the antics pulled off by AOC, there's a good chance that perhaps there's a hole in the market for a Republican to actually win. Let's read on, however. They say, Murray, who was born in Jamaica and moved to the United States when she was 9, is officially launching her campaign Wednesday, that's today, with an introductory video that takes sharp jabs at the 29-year-old Ocasio-Cortez. Your representative in Washington chooses self-promotion over service, conflict over constituents, resistance over assistance. Queens and the Bronx need someone who will create jobs instead of turning them away. I mean, that's a fact. Everybody needs that. And it's kind of weird that AOC, she went after Amazon and New York wanted Amazon there. It's kind of crazy. They need it. Their infrastructure is crumbling. Asked about Ocasio-Cortez's brand of democratic socialism, Murray said, I think it's far, far to the left, and it is not connecting with everyday Americans. I believe that's true as well. As for Medicare for all, which Ocasio-Cortez has embraced, the Republican said, Medicare for all. I think a lot of people are happy with their current health insurance. And on the Green New Deal, the left-wing proposal to address climate change pushed by Ocasio-Cortez, she said, we know that it certainly will kill jobs. Right, it will. The Green New Deal is absurd, and here's my favorite part about it, guaranteed jobs. Look, let me inform you guys about something. I went to Venezuela in 2014, okay? This is important. And I saw firsthand how bureaucratic jobs guarantees is terrifying. For one, the mall I went to, look, I didn't go on some Potemkin village tour. I didn't have government minders. I had a local guy who was like, hey, let me take you to the mall. Tons of empty shops. We ate with no problem. This is true. We went to a restaurant. It was actually great. I got an arepa, and it was like avocado and chicken mashed together. Really, really good. And you can get them around in the U.S. It's a fantastic dish. So in Venezuela, however, I went to go get a cell phone, and that was a nightmare. There were like 5 or 6 different counters I had to go to because my understanding, I could be wrong, but what I was told by locals was, hey, look, when you need jobs, this is what they do. In the United States, I walk in a T-Mobile or whatever, and I say I need a cell phone, and the guy says, here you go, here's a phone. I sign a paper, swipe a card, I'm good to go. In Venezuela, I had to go to the front desk and tell them what I was looking for, then go to that specific desk. Then they would say, okay, now you've picked your plan, now go to the acquisition desk. Then I'd go to, it was just weird bureaucracy. And my understanding, I could be wrong, but it seemed like that's what you get with government-mandated jobs. The locals told me, the guy was showing me around, when you need to have jobs, they just make them up. So instead of having a streamlined and simple process, they just jam people in places where it doesn't make sense so they can justify having a job. But I'll tell you this, that strains resources. You are then allocating resources to people who are doing things that don't need to be done, and it slows everything down. It's a bad idea. So no, government-mandated jobs, not a good idea, but let's read on. Murray joins 4 other Republicans who have filed to run for the seat. Former police officer John Cummings, medical journalist Ruth Papazian, construction contractor Miguel Hernandez, and entrepreneur Antoine Tucker. No Democrats have yet announced a primary challenge to Ocasio-Cortez, though there's been speculation that establishment Democrats could rally behind a primary challenger. Ocasio-Cortez shocked the political world in 2018 by defeating longtime Rep. Joe Crowley. My understanding is he didn't even debate her. That was a mistake, but I guess he didn't want to give her the time of day. Well, you lose. There you go. Whichever Republican candidate emerges from the primary field will face a steep uphill climb in the overwhelmingly Democratic district. But Murray and others are looking to paint Ocasio-Cortez as more of a celebrity than a lawmaker, while stressing their ability to work across party lines. Murray's new campaign video, which doesn't mention Trump or the Republican Party, portrays Murray as a bridge builder. She is a former state committeewoman of the New York State Republican Party. So let me just take a look. Look, I don't know who these other people running are, but there's going to be a primary. And I got to say, Sherrie sounds kind of incredible. She's got political experience. She's a businesswoman. And, right off the bat, that's spot on. I mean, she's going to have real experience in politics, working with communities and running an actual business. It's a lot more than Ocasio-Cortez has to offer. So I'll reiterate what I pointed out earlier, by all means, respect to Ocasio-Cortez for winning. But look, you're going to face a real challenge from somebody who's got real experience, and your progressive bona fides aren't going to be what you need, in my opinion, to win. Keeping in mind, heavy Democrat district, so she's got a major advantage here. It's going to be a tough one, especially when you consider how famous AOC is. I'm sure there are people in her district who just love the fact that she's famous, and they don't care about anything else. AOC only needs to get 15,000 votes, because that's what she got last time. I think she can be able to command it, but we'll see. It's possible her district doesn't like her and way more people come out. Let's read on. They say, asked during the interview if she considers herself a Trump supporter, she said yes. She said she is in the process of talking with the national Republicans about her campaign, including South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, a prominent black Republican in Congress. She expressed disgust over the recent spat between Trump and Ocasio-Cortez and her allies. Trump has taken heat for telling Ocasio-Cortez and other minority progressives to go back to where they came from, provoking accusations from Democrats that Trump's comments are racist. I think it's disgusting, to be quite honest, Murray said of the controversy, without specifying which part of it disgusts her. I think we are missing the point of why we are elected to public office, to legislate on policy, to deliver results to those kitchen table issues that are affecting everyday Americans. Spot on. I disagree with a lot of the Republicans when it comes to the basic conservative principles, like pro-life, for instance. That's one of the big ones. But here's the thing. In blue districts, Republicans tend to be moderate liberals. They tend to be on the left, but to the right of the Democrat. And so I think, I could be wrong, but you have like Southern Democrats, the blue dog Democrats, they're kind of Republican, but they're to the left of where the Republicans are. I could be getting that all screwed up. Forgive me if I'm wrong. The general idea is expect to see Sherrie as a rather progressive individual, but sane. And because of that, I'd be surprised if I didn't agree with her on a lot of issues, as I, from like a national perspective, lean slightly to the left on a lot of policy issues. You guys know I'm a big fan of Tulsi, even though I think Tulsi goes a little too far in the Democratic policy side. And surprisingly, you'll find a lot of moderates agree. Even conservatives defend Tulsi because her core issue is one of the most important issues for most Americans, ending this BS war machine where we waste all of this money. You want to talk about healthcare for Americans? Great. Let's stop spending it in foreign countries for whatever nonsense. I get it. It's a global, there's a lot of controversy and stuff. But I think that's a big issue for a lot of Americans, and that's why she's respectable. Sherrie, I think you will end up seeing her policies being fairly moderate. I think she will be politically centrist, and that will attract a lot of Republicans who probably don't vote, and it'll actually attract a lot of people who maybe don't like Ocasio-Cortez because she's too far left. So they're going to talk a bit more about Murray, but she, I will read a little bit more just to clarify. They say Murray clarified her thoughts on the back and forth, saying Trump's tweet, "Is that how I would have worded it? No. Do I think the president is racist? No," she added. "But I want to get back to the core of why we're even talking about this. There is a crisis at our border." It seems like Sherrie is being honest. And I want to make one more point because I don't want to make this video super long. People often point to my content on the left and say, aha, Tim supports this policy, therefore he's right wing. And I'm like, wait, hold on. If Trump says something that's factually true, and then I say, okay, I guess he's right, that doesn't make me right wing. You think about that perspective. Simply because I will acknowledge there are true things, like there's a border crisis. I have said, yep, there's a border crisis going back because we had evidence of it. It doesn't make me right-wing to recognize facts. No, it doesn't. So there is a problem for many on the left, not the entirety of the left, but many, when they'll say, if you agree with this fact, that makes you right-wing. Okay, you've lost it. So I look forward to seeing what happens with Sherrie. I'll have any updates if that happens. But I do have some more stories about AOC that I want to get into. So stick around. That segment will be coming up in the next few minutes, and I will see you all there.